Hi, I'm Dave Ingray. Welcome back to my video series, In the Beginning, comparing current scientific theories on the beginnings of the universe with a literal reading of the Genesis creation account in the Bible. In the first two videos, we looked at the dawn of creation, the Big Bang and the formation of the Earth, and the first oceanic plant life emerging from inorganic matter when God said, "Let there be light," and the second age of the Earth when God used the oxygen created by these early plants to create the firmament and the atmosphere. In this video, we'll look at the appearance of dry land and land plants in day 3 and what happened on day 4. The third day or age is in two parts. First, and God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it began to be so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Now, if the waters were gathered in one place, then the land was too. In the time of Moses, the Israelites well understood that there were at least two great seas, the Red and the Mediterranean. They may well have also known of the Indian Ocean. As such, these verses describing the first part of day 3 were not describing the earth as they knew it. With the land gathered in one place, this could refer to the continent we now call Pangaea. These three passages from Psalms, Job, and Isaiah describe God spreading out the land, with Isaiah also stating that God stretches out the heavens. Is it possible to say that the Bible hints at the science of plate tectonics? Alfred Wegener first proposed the theory of continental drift in his book The Origins of Continents and Oceans in 1915. Wegener used biology, botany, and geology to describe Pangaea and continental drift. For example, fossils of the ancient reptile Mesosaurus are found only in southern Africa and South America. Mesosaurus, a freshwater reptile only 1 meter long, could not have swum the Atlantic Ocean. The presence of Mesosaurus suggests a single habitat with many lakes and rivers. Today, we know that the continents rest on massive slabs of rock called continental plates. The plates are always moving and interacting in a process called plate tectonics. The continents are still moving today. Some of the most dynamic sites of tectonic activity are the seafloor spreading zones and giant rift valleys. The activity of the third day continues. Then God said, "Let the land bring forth vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees of the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their kinds." And it began to be so. The land began to bring forth vegetation, plants bearing seeds according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it, according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. Throughout the Genesis creation account, the author uses specific terms to describe new aspects of creation. Each of these terms is used with amazing precision. To create, that is, to make something completely new. To make, that is, to form from existing material. Or to bring forth, which is what is used here. And there are fascinating and precise variations of each of these verbs in each instance throughout Genesis 1. To bring forth has the connotation of taking something that already exists from one place to another. Land plants are neither made nor created, simply brought forth. Peeking ahead, land animals are both made and brought forth. At this point in the Genesis account, there are only two places, the sea and the dry land. This puzzled me greatly at first until I realized that oceanic plant life had already been created separately, but not specifically described, as I set out in my last video. My theory on why oceanic plant life's creation is skipped over is that it is not directly relevant to human existence. The same could be said for the formation of the sun or when God made Satan, to name just a few such other things. I believe the earth brought forth vegetation, coupled with the phrase, "each according to its kind," is indicative of evolution. I did not know until I started researching this that there are two kinds of evolution, micro and macro. Macroevolution is when one species changes into another. According to sciencefacts.net, green algae, specifically charophytes, are thus considered the closest relatives to land plants. They lived in shallow habitats where they were exposed to frequent droughts and tides, and probably led to their adaptation to dry land. The early land plants, thought to be lichen, are now completely separate species from algae. A recent article in Scientific American describes how lichen emerged and grew and changed into shrubs and trees. Microevolution is small changes within a species. That is, the nuts of an acorn will always produce, of an oak tree, will always produce more oak trees, but there may be incremental changes to a given species of plant. For instance, trees are now significantly less dense than they were just a hundred years ago. They have less natural resistance to pest, are less durable, and trees are now smaller and less wide. And on to day 4. And God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark his sacred times and days and years. And let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. And he also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. As I said in my last video, some interpret this passage to mean that God created the sun, moon, and stars here in the fourth day, after the earth was formed. When I came to understand that the Hebrews did not use punctuation, the text became easier to line up with our scientific understanding. The sun and the earth and the rest of the solar system formed at about the same time. In the first day, the light of the sun penetrated the thick clouds of the atmosphere that sat on top of the oceans. Here, the atmosphere has thinned enough for the sun, moon, and stars to be visible from the surface of the earth. That is, it should be understood to read, God made the two great lights, the sun and the moon, and also the stars, to give light on the earth. In summary, then, for the third and fourth days, God gathered the oceans in one place and made the dry land appear also in one place. In Job, Isaiah, and Psalms, the Bible describes God spreading out the land, which hints at the science of plate tectonics. He brought forth plants, neither creating nor making them, but bringing them from one place to another, that is, from the ocean to dry land. Plants are made each according to their kind, meaning a species will always reproduce the same species in microevolution, but oceanic plants are different species than land plants, evidence of macroevolution. And in day 4, the sun, moon, and stars are finally visible from the surface of the earth, if there was anyone there to see them at the time. Tune in next time when we will see God creating the first sea and land animals in days 5 and 6. And what about those birds?